Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United transfer news as Manchester United are in talks for Emi Martinez. This is coming in from credible sources, but there's a big but. Is it going to be a here we go or is it just a little bit more spin? Because I've got to say I've been naughty. I've been bad this morning, or have I? There's a bit of spin coming out from The Athletic about Wilcox and what a great job he's doing. Wonderful Wilcox. I put a tweet out this morning saying, but for all the positives, there's massive negatives. You're the problem with this fan base. You're a CUNT. This, that and the other. Toxic Friday. Well, look, bring it on. I don't care. I'm not bothered. If you're happy that Man United have just had their worst ever Premier League season, if you're happy that Manchester United are in their worst ever position, and if you're happy that we've actually only bought one player and sold nobody, and you want to knock one out to a PR piece in The Athletic, then that's up to you. But I'm not going to sit here and say it's wonderful. I'm not. Oh, wonderful Wilcox and an amazing year at Man United. No, he's got to do a hell of a lot better. And if you want that debate, let's have it. Because if I'm the biggest problem in the football club for calling bad performance out, you're the biggest problem in the fucking fan base for not just sitting there like a bloody sheep, bearing, going, bah, bah, everything's great, everything's great. You might want to check the league table. You might want to check the Europa League final. You might want to check the last 12 months. You might want to check the debt. You might want to check the players we've already missed out on. You might want to check where we are in the queue. You might want to check how easy it is to sell players. Don't fall for the spin. Middle of June, drop a piece. I guarantee you, if I went back last year, the year before that, I remember these articles about Murta. It's client journalism and it exists. Do a positive piece about us and we'll get you an interview on the tour. It's how it works. If you can't see that, that's not my problem. And let's be honest, it's not just me, is it? I was talking to Tony from Webby and O'Neill about this on Monday. He shares exactly the same views. Too many of our fans sat there waiting to knock one out to some transfer news instead of looking at the realities of how badly the football club's been run over the last 12 months and we're hiding behind open goals. Oh, Cunha's signed for Manchester United. Well, we are the biggest bloody club in England. You know, we're not Wrexham. We should be signing these players. What do you want us to be? Bloody grateful? Come on, the standards are on the bloody floor. On the floor. Anyway, we'll talk about that if we've got time, and I'm sure we will do. But let's hit the news. Hello everybody, today's clip is supported by Sleeper. Before we dive in, let me tell you a bit more about Sleeper. This app is making serious waves. It was the #1 downloaded sports app in the US during the NFL season, even beating heavyweights such as ESPN and Yahoo. Sleeper isn't just popular, it's because they truly deliver the best fantasy experience. You get deeper customization, more league options, and all the bells and whistles that make managing your fantasy team a blast. But that's not all. Sleeper is growing a fantastic community with several million people using it daily for their sports fix. Sleeper has a broad appeal and is genuinely built for everyone. So, if you're looking to up your fantasy game, make sure to check out Sleeper by clicking the link in the video description. Trust me, you won't regret it. Manchester United are in talks with Emi Martinez, Fabrizio Romano time. So, breaking news last night, initial contacts have taken place for Emi Martinez. He's ready to say yes to Manchester United. What's going on? What's going on? What is going on? Why is Fabrizio Romano saying that? I think it's well, look, it's encouraging, isn't it? I mean, look, some people will say he was saying this about Gyökeres a week ago. Look, Gyökeres could still happen. We're not here to talk about Gyökeres. The reality is, I'm quite interested by this because we've always been talking about information coming out of the club since March about Amorim doesn't want Onana. And what we had this week was, I think, in The Athletic and in the Manchester Evening News, Onana's going to stay. But that's not because Amorim wants him to stay. That's not because Wilcox wants him to stay. That's because Onana's got the power to stay if he wants to stay. But how do you get rid of somebody? You get rid of somebody in a workforce or in a relationship by finding somebody else. If you're married and you don't want to be married anymore and you come home from work with somebody else and you go straight to the bedroom, your partner's going to get the message that something's not right. You know, they've cooked you a lasagna and chips and you're upstairs getting some other food. So, look, in a work sense, if you've got somebody that's underperforming and they won't go, but you replace them, then suddenly pride is going to kick in, or common sense is going to kick in that, hey, hold on a minute, I'm being moved out here. I'm getting humiliated. I need to wise up. So it is interesting, and I think what the big story around this Martinez story is PSR and FFP. Aston Villa did this last season with Douglas Luiz. So they weirdly, and I don't agree with this, they have to sell even though they do well. So they qualified for the Champions League last year. They had to sell to comply with PSR. They've had a good season this year. They've got to sell to comply with PSR. It's stupid. It's, you know, I don't even know why you'd bother doing it, considering Man City might not even get done for it. So, yeah, look, apparently we've got 10 days left. Well, no, it's not. Breaking news. Breaking news. There's only 10 days left in June this year. It's the 20th of June. On the 30th of June, the month ends. The football financial year ends. So the story is that Villa need to cash in on somebody in the next 10 days. Now, if you remember last year, I can't remember who the player was. Maybe it was Branthwaite. There was a player last year where we thought we were going to do this. Nicholas says Martinez had missed the first 3 matches. We'll talk about that in a moment. But then, can't you remember last year, Chelsea, Everton, Newcastle and Villa started doing this let's pay... And look, nobody's ever revisited that because that's how naive and basic modern football journalism is. A year ago, teams like Villa, Everton, Newcastle, Chelsea were selling each other players we've never heard of since for 20 million quid. You know, some young player that goes for 20 million quid. We've never heard of him again. They don't get picked because they're just kids. It was a scam. And nobody wants to talk about it, but it was a scam. It wasn't a scam. I take that back. It wasn't a scam. It was clever from Villa, Chelsea, Newcastle and Everton. They basically made each other 20 million quid each by selling kids that weren't worth it. So effectively, they did that because they needed to get money in by June the 30th. That might happen again. But what people are saying is that because Villa need to do it again, maybe Martinez goes and gives Villa the money they need for the end of the financial year. And on July the 1st, Villa can spend money again. So they might come in for Garnacho. They might come in for Rashford. So if this is going to happen with Martinez, it feels like it would need to happen in the next few days. I don't know where that money comes from, but I 100% would do it if this is the goalkeeper that we want. Now, we're hearing that he actually wants Porto's goalkeeper, Costa. But I don't know how viable that is. But I think it's a clever move and it's behaving like a football club, not a business, to replace Onana now and make him know he's got to go. Onana's not sure about his future. He said that last week. He did an interview and he said, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. So he's not sure of his future. United don't want to keep him. And yet you've got this PR piece coming out this week that he's not going because they're probably worried about selling him. I'd replace him and then he'll replace himself. If you replace Onana with Martinez, he'll be gone. He'll be gone by the end of July. So that's the way to do it. Braden says, Goldbridge, do you not think Mbeumo will be this week or not, says Braden? I don't know. I don't know is the honest answer on that. We can talk about Mbeumo in a minute. Riz says, apparently Monaco are considering Onana, according to L'Equipe. Yeah, I read that this morning. I mean, I don't know whether you can take that source as a decent... Well, you can. It's a French source. But Manchester United's Andre Onana and Chelsea's Petrovic have been considered by Monaco as their goalkeeper pursuit continues. Yeah, look, if he can find a move, he's only going to find a move if we find him if we put a replacement in goal for Manchester United. If we can do that, then that makes a massive amount of difference. Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video because we all know only legends like videos and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching as always.